Kelly?
Mike, you've been here as Sid has gotten or approached a couple of milestones, so hypothetically he's approaching a milestone. Can you see any difference in him? And if you can't, is that testament to his balance?
Well, I just see an incredibly driven athlete that works extremely hard every day to be at his best. And I think, the Penguins are the benefactors of his passion for the game. He has incredible desire to be the best. He works extremely hard to keep his game at a high level. And as a result, he's been able to sustain an elite level of play. And what I see is just a more mature player. I think with all the experiences that he's been through, some real positive ones in winning championships and gold medals, and then some disappointing ones where you don't have success. I think it offers all of us, Sid included, just the benefit of perspective and the importance of a lot of the subtleties of the game. His willingness to play on both sides of the puck, I think, is unmatched by star players around the league. I think he has the most mature game, and when I use the word mature, that's what I mean specifically. Is just his commitment to play on both sides of the puck, because he understands the importance of that in order to win championships. And that's what I see in Sid, and just the evolution of him as a player is just he plays a smart, efficient game, but his desire to be the best, for me, I watch it every day. It's impressive.
Seth?
Mike, to this point of the season, midway point more or less, the majority of your games have been against Western Conference opponents. How different is the game against, say, the Arizona Coyotes or the Seattle Kraken, where there is no history between the franchises, compared to, say, Washington Capitals with Philadelphia Flyers? Is there any difference in emotions, atmosphere, anything like that?
Sure. I mean, every game takes on its own story, and every game presents its own unique challenge. We as a coaching staff try to identify what that challenge is, and we present it to our group every night. And and usually it goes something like, "Here's our challenge, and this is how we're going to have success." And so, some games where teams don't have a history become emotionally charged that you can't anticipate. Other games where teams have a history and a rivalry is built because, for example, with the Washington Capitals that have such a impressive body of work, just like the Penguins have, and we're in the same division. There's obviously a rivalry that's built up there, and usually those games always involve intensity and emotion. But every night is, I think, just presents a unique challenge, and it's our job to try to figure out how to overcome it, and that's how we approach it. So, I'm not sure what you're alluding to with the sense of we've played a fair amount of Western Conference teams. We're going to play Eastern Conference teams coming up. All the teams in this league are good.
Jay?
Mike, you touched on some of the things that Crosby does at an elite level. Because he does so many things so well, is it possible that he's somewhat underappreciated as a goal scorer, even though he's closing in on 500?
Well, I'm not sure he's underappreciated. We certainly appreciate him inside our dressing room, and I think those of us in Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh Penguins fans have had the privilege to watch him for 15 or 16 or 17 years, however long he's been a Pittsburgh Penguin. I think we all have an appreciation for how good he is at this game in all aspects. His ability to score goals, his ability to make plays and set up goals. He makes the players around him better players. He's the standard bearer for our team. He's the guy that drives the expectations, and we're all held accountable to that, and himself included. He has such high expectations of himself. I think we all appreciate what he does every night for our team. I'm not sure I can speak for the rest of the hockey world that doesn't have the privilege to see him as often as we do, but certainly his numbers, I think, speak for itself. The fact that he's approaching that milestone, I think, is just an indication of his ability to score goals. That's a lot of goals in this league.
Wes? Mike, kind of continuing right off of that, I think Sid, at least in Pittsburgh, as you just talked about, has kind of reached a level where he's discussed in a similar manner to Mario, and I think that that's quite a big accomplishment, giving Mario status in the city, but not just on the ice, but the way that he's handled himself away from the rink. Just what does that say to you that somebody, even if it's Sidney Crosby that we're talking about, has kind of reached a level where he's at least discussed in a similar manner to Mario?
Well, I think, whenever you're in the same conversation as Mario, you're an elite company. And so that could be the highest compliment for a player. And it's deserving for a player like Sid. Both Mario and Sid are pioneers of the game in their respective generations. Not only are they great players, but they're also great ambassadors for the game. They represent our organization and our sport with such class and dignity, and I think that's what separates them. And so we're fortunate to have both of those guys as part of the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. But the thing that jumps out at me with respect to both of those guys is just their humility, and they just carry themselves in such a way that they make people feel comfortable, and just their humility with respect to the sport, their peers, their teammates, their coaching staff. It's such an admirable quality, and these guys, I think, just epitomize everything that's right about our sport.
Matt?
Mike, last night when Chris Letang was asked about the success you guys have had over the last couple of months, he mentioned Tristan and then he mentioned the team's depth. And it seems like every year you guys are able to plug in guys and keep going. I mean, it's a new front office compared to previous years, and you guys are still able to find guys in the back of the roster that you have success. So I'm just curious, as a coach, like how much you enjoy that part of the team building. I mean, you get to work with some great guys, but also helping this team kind of build out that depth where you have guys come in. I think you've had 31 guys play this year, and you guys keep on rolling.
I really enjoy it. It's an important aspect of of our sport is the depth. Every team at some point is going to get challenged, and you don't just win with 12 forwards and 6 defensemen and 2 goalies. And that's a complete team effort. It's not just the coaching staff and the players on the team. It's our scouting staff and our management team that go out and draft players. It's our development department and our minor league coaching staff in Wilkes-Barre that improve all of our players' respective games to prepare them to play and compete at the NHL level. There's a lot of goings on behind the scenes, I think, that make an organization like Pittsburgh successful, and it's a team effort in the true sense of the word. A lot of these guys, don't get the accolades for the success the organization has had, but trust me when I tell you that we have such great people in all the respective departments that help us acquire and continue to build the depth each and every year, and that's one of the challenges. With the nature of the business of the game, it's hard to keep teams together with the salary cap and some of those challenges. We've got to find players, whether it be through college free agency or players from Europe, like Zohorna, for example, where we can plug these guys into our team and they can play games for us. And our organization, in my whole tenure here, has been able to do that, and that's a credit, I think, to just the top-down approach and the complete team effort with all of the people in all the respective departments that work towards a common goal.
Couple more. Jeff?
Mike, I know that some external forces have played in with Casey. What are some of the things you're working with him on to improve his game? Well, I just think right now it's his own mindset and his confidence in his ability to play, and as these guys are all professional athletes, they're proud guys, they're also human, and when things don't go the right way, players get affected, and it's our job as a coaching staff to help them through that process.
Casey's had a body of work here in Pittsburgh that's been really good, and he's played a lot of sound hockey for us. And we know he's a very capable guy. And it's our challenge with Casey is to help him capture his very best game. And we know he's capable, and that's what we're trying to do. And I think he's getting some quality work here with Andy Chiodo, our goalie coach. He's getting some quality reps in practice. As I said to you guys in his last start, I think I put him in a tough spot, you know, coming out of the COVID protocol. He didn't have very much practice. I think that might be of all the players that come out of that COVID protocol and we insert back in the lineup, the goaltender might be the most difficult position for that. There's just so many subtleties to that position that repetitions are required to stay on top of your game. And so, you know, I take a lot of responsibility there for putting Casey in a tough spot. But we know he's a capable guy, and I think that Andy and him are getting the quality work in practice that's going to prepare him moving forward.
Rich?
Mike, obviously you guys have been through this before. When you have so many games in a little amount of days, how much do you change things? How much do you alter with how you coach, and maybe do you pay more attention to minutes and what players are out there?
Well, we pay attention to workload, and we're trying to win the game right in front of us. We're also trying to manage the minutes. We have an eye on the minutes played of you know, all of our players, so that we can sustain performance. And every game takes on its own challenge with respect to that. You know, so what I will tell you is our coaching staff goes into every game, you know, with the goal of trying to keep our players within a reasonable minutes played, so that we have the ability to sustain. You know, there's going to be some nights where it's difficult, depending on what happens. If there's a lot of special teams, for example, or we're in a game where we're chasing a game and we're down by a goal or two, and we lean on our top guys to generate more offense. A game like last night, for example, when you get up a few goals in the third period, we were able to use the bench a little bit more. It gives us an opportunity to get the minutes down of some of those guys like Sid and Gino and Jake and Rusty and the guys that we lean on a lot in other circumstances. So we have an understanding and an idea of workloads. We're trying to do the right things in practice where we're keeping them fresh. You know, even in our meetings, as far as the video meetings that we show them, we're aware of just making sure that we understand the difference between monotony and routine. You know, routine is a good thing, monotony is not. And it's our job as a coaching staff to make sure that we're vigilant there, and we keep our guys not only physically as fresh as possible, but mentally as well. And so that was some of the reason why we took the approach we did today. We didn't have a film session this morning. We had a short practice, an up-tempo practice. We're trying to recharge the batteries. We're trying to give them an opportunity to stay fresh, because we know we've got a heavy workload here moving forward.
Last one, Matt.
Mike, can we please get an update on Drew O'Connor and just where he stands in his recovery?
So Drew is, his status is the same. He's week to week with an upper body injury.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.